Hello and welcome to my tutorial. This is video number 8. In this video I'm going to implement my information panel about the game. So I will implement the information about my score, about the time. I implement a win panel and a lose panel. For that I open my card behavior script in Visual Studio. And in my game panel behavior, I need one more object, a public game object. And this game object is my information panel. So I save the script, go to Unity, and in the field information panel, I add with drag and drop the information panel. So I save the script. Now my information panel has some messages. It has a text. This text is the score. I change the font size and drag it here to the left side. I rename the object to score. Then my information panel has a time, a counter, which is telling the user or the gamer that the time are in some seconds left. So this text is time. The font size is also 35. And I add this window here on this side. I rename this to time field. I save the script. Okay. Time field. Now I need this scores into my script. So I have here a public text called score, and I have public text field. I can load it also dynamically, but I want to use it with these fields here. That's simply easier for me. So I drag the score into this field and the time field to this field. Now I can set the score in my start method, so I can say score.text is score, and also a number. And so I use here a private int score number, underline score number, and this is 0, underline score number. So that's the score. I start with 0. And every time if I find 2 cards, I increase the score with the number 2. And if I find 2 different cards, I decrease this score. So we have in the validation of the 2 card state this code block here. And this code block is running when we have 2 same front pictures. So I increase here my score. The problem is that the context didn't have a property to access the game panel behavior. So I create here an internal game panel behavior called game panel, and when I instantiate first time this context, I say context dot game panel is this. So now I can use this panel in my validation method. So I say context get instance game panel, and I need the score number, but the score number is private, so I set it to internal. Score number plus is 2. So if I have two same pictures, the score number is increases by value 2. And so I copy this, and when I have two different pictures, I decrease the score by 1. The next point is under my void start method I use the void update method, and this method has to update my score. So I save this, I go into Unity and start my game. We see the score is 0, and now the score is -1, -2, -3, -4, and yes, and if I have two cards founded, it's increased by 2. Okay, this works. So now the time, and for the time I use also this update method. So my time field is a private time, current time is 0.0, is 15. So 15 seconds. And if the current time is greater than equal 0.0, so I have to decrease this time value. So I say current time minus is, and I use the time object delta time, and after I decrease this time, I set here the time field dot text is time current time to string So I save the game, and when the time is over, the score is also is only in this field, and if the time is smaller or equal than 0, so the time is over, I print a log message. Time is over. So I take here 5 seconds, I save the script and I wait to compile. I start the game and the time is running in the wrong direction. So the current time has to decrease. I save the script, so I try the second. Yes, and we see that the time is clocking down 0, and I get the message on the console, time is over. Well, the next point is I want 2 panels. One panel tells me that the game is over, and the other panel has to tell me that I win the game. So I create in my game panel a new panel, and I call this panel the win panel. And the win panel has the color green. A little bit darker, yes. With text. With size 50, the middle. Text. That's the win panel. And of course I need a lose panel. I rename this panel to lose panel. Set it to visible. I change the color to red. And the text is game over. So now I need in my script 2 properties. Public game object, the win panel, and public game object, the lose panel. I save the script, and in my game panel I drag the win panel to the win panel here, and the lose panel to the lose panel field. So I save this. Now I can use the instances of this panel in my game, and when the time is over I set the information panel, the lose panel, set active to true. So I save the script and I start the game. So I wait if the time is over, and my game over panel is visible. The next panel is the win panel. So I have to check if I win the game, and we have here the card properties, and the card properties have all our instances. So I create here a method, public void delete card property. So every time I delete an instance of the card behavior, I delete it from this dictionary. So I say card property remove instance get ID, and then I ask if the card properties count is smaller than 1, so I can set the win panel to active. The problem here is that the update method is always running, so it is possible that the loose panel is set after a few seconds active. So I use here a boolean. Boolean is finish is false, and if is finish is false, I can run this part of code. If the loose panel is set to active, I say is finish to true. And also, if is finish only if the game is not finished, I turn the win panel on. So this delete cut property method has to be invoked every time I destroy my game object in the cut behavior. So I call my parent component dot delete cut property this game object. I save the game, but I turn the time a little bit higher so I have a chance to win the game. I open Unity and I start the game. Yes, this is my win panel, and the game over panel is activated. That's wrong. So I look into my source code. Is finish true? Yes, I have to set here the is finish to true. So I save this game. Then I want to actualize in the win panel the score. I take here a public text from win panel. Yes, I have here text from win panel, and I take it with drag and drop into my field. So now I have to use here dot text. I save my script. I start the game. You win, your score is 15. Okay, that's work. So that's it with my tutorial. I hope it helps you. If you have some problems, write this into the comments. I try to help you. And hopefully I see you in the next videos. Bye.